Dr. Philbert Gakwenzire. As a profession, I'm a senior lecturer in the University of Rwanda, specifically in the College of Education, where I teach history, related history modules, especially concerning the history of genocide, the contemporary history of Rwanda and Africa, and the colonial issues. I studied for undergraduate in the University of Rwanda. In the time it was National University of Rwanda from 1995. I closed in 1999, a little bit in 2000, in the Department of History. And after that, I conducted a master's degree in the management of cultural heritage. I have been also working for Ibuka Association in 2000 up to 2006. And after that, I shifted to academic area, and I had also the opportunity of working on a PhD from 2012 up to 2016 in Université Libre de Bruxelles. It is a university, French university in Brussels city. From 2022 in November, I have been elected to chair the board of directors of Ibuka Association. But also, you know that from very recently, there were a reform, a kind of merging between our associations. And from December, we have also a new board of directors. This year means a lot in my history and the history of Rwanda. It means 10 years after the independence. So in that time, in our families, there were stories of persecutions happened for my family and the Tutsi in general. After I started primary school, where you go out your own family and you started to meet your classmates, your teachers, and the consciousness of the problems that the country was living was embedded more to you. And there was emphasis on the question of ethnicity. For example, the physical control of the pupils at the beginning of the year. You can even read on the records of each student being Hutu, Tutsi, and Itwa. And also there were injustice, especially concerning the selection to study second education. As young as we were, we should know exactly who you are, Hutu, Tutsi, and especially Twa, because also they were in a class. For studying secondary school, there is always a chance, a chance. In French, they say, passer la maille du filet. Do you know fishes? You can go for searching fishes, and the fish can pass out. So it is the life we had in that time. And I had to close my secondary studies in June 1994, which was stopped by genocide, but I survived and I continue after the liberation of the country. In 1994, we were 10. Our parents and my brothers and sisters, and we stayed for my 2 brothers and my sister, while the other 4 brothers and sisters have been killed. The achievements of Ibuka Association, it's a progress. It cannot stop it anywhere, as it can be for any other organization or the activities have been being conducted in the country. Ibuka has been created in 1995. By the way, for this year in December, we will celebrate 30 years of our existence with a mission of gathering all facts showing what happened against the Tutsi, which is generally called the memory of genocide against the Tutsi, working on the history to understand our past, but also to see how the past can help us to have a bright future and the hope. But also worked about the justice, and you understand that it is very important, and thought about the social psychological issues. So today we are working more enough on the question of memory and history, but also we are dealing about the question of justice. And this gives us the emphasis of what you have to do just to continue to educate the people, especially the young ones, because they have to avoid to commit the errors done in the past. We suffered before a genocide. We suffered during a genocide. But you know, a genocide can continue in other way by denial, by propagation of hatred ideology. And when we heard about that within a country or out of the country, it is another kind of suffering by ourselves, or hearing that there are others who are suffering because of this in the same way. There is nothing positive from hatred and the propagation of denial. What we have to understand, first of all, we have to work on our own issue, because the international community always has a kind of interest. You know that during genocide period, several countries like France, Belgium, even Zaire, which is today DRC, was supporting the power of Kayibanda and Habyarimana. And even today, they have a kind of nostalgia with these, their own friends. They have the interest to take in our country, in the region. And what I can see is to call upon for us, for the solidarity, the love of our country, to say no to any kind of attack against to our country. We have to activate the patriotism and the solidarity for us, but also to be realistic. And there is nothing positive from what happened to Tutsi, to troubles, to hatred. So we have to work more on our questions, but also to be aware that outside of our country, there is the people who do not like our progress, our progress. And as I said, also this kind of nostalgia, having their friends. You know that some genocide perpetrators are still out of the country. There is a very big number of genocide perpetrators in DRC, and especially these militia, Interahamwe militia members, the members of the army, of the FAR, they are still there. They are fighting, they are killing other people, by Kinyarwanda expression, people in the Congo. So we have also to work with the other countries and the people of goodwill to say that we have to create a common solidarity, not within the country only, but also with the other states and the peoples. From 1948, we have an international convention for prevention and repression of the genocide. And several countries in the world signed this convention. There were also particular laws repressing this crime. And there is a principle in the law saying that if you are not able to apprehend the questioning country, you have to extradite. So these people have to respect their home laws, they have to respect international convention, they have to understand that what happened against the Tutsi was against the whole humanity. And they have to understand if the values, the laws are not respected, what happened in this country should happen also in the other country. So you have to call upon once again to respect the law, to respect the human being when they are saying human rights, etc. They have to start by there, because there is any other crime than the crime of genocide. Preserving the history of genocide and its facts is a very essential task, but also which is very sensitive, because when you're writing, you're touching any your emotion. So there is a challenge on the side of survivors, but today there is hope. From 10 years ago, there are several books written by survivors. They have not only to be a task of survivors. All witnesses have to do so, their friends, and it must be very interested in the academic area, the people to write, to understand, to make analysis. But as it is a very emotional, it is a very touching, the people are not ready to be engaged in this way. But we try our best to sensitize the people to understand that it is very important for the reconstruction of our country and also having a hope for our future. When you are telling what happened to you during that period, you are living once again the same life, the same event. So this is the great reason that the people are not yet, some people are not psychologically ready. Concerning this social media propagating hatred, genocide ideology, etc., you know, from some years, there is a kind of democratization of information. A great number of people has access to the media. But, you know, before this liberalization of media, the people should access to the information through edited information. And it is not yet the same case today. Everybody can become a journalist, YouTubeist. What I say is that the people, first of all, they have to, the global strategy that we can propose is to ask the people to be conscient and to be accountable to what they write, what they read, what they send to the others. This is the global. Secondly, the people also, they have to have a critical thinking and to understand the meaning of what they are receiving. And also, I think you have to be, everybody has to be somehow activist. Some people can say, I read this, it has no importance. But if you are finding it can attempt to the life of others, you have to react. The people being that I have passed by the class, you have to take another dimension of acting for the life of the others. Yeah, some people in the states avoid to name exactly what happened against the Tutsi, passing by other nomination. And I found that, first of all, it is the question of misconsideration of the victims, of survivors, and the event happened in the country. And they have to understand that the lives of the Tutsi accounts. The life of those who has passed away, those who survived, the life of the whole country, and they have to avoid this attitude of superiority, eh? Saying that this happened in Africa, it is not in Europe. But you have to understand that it is even happening in other parts of the world, and they have to consider what happened and to give a respect to the survivors and to the victims. We have to fight giving the truth of what happened in our country. And I think if there is a truth, we have not to take a big energy. What is more important is to be consistent in our way, saying the truth and showing that what they are committing, they are in a way. What is more important for us is to share testimonies of what happened. Even if you are not able to write, you can document and put it somewhere. For our younger generations, they have to understand what happened. So we have to tell what happened to us, what happened to our whole nation. Because what happened to the group of Tutsi was happening to the whole nation, was happening to the whole humanity. Those who are propagating hatred and denials, they have to be contradicted by the truth, by the real information of what happened, and giving the testimonies and the several stages of our history before the genocide, during the genocide. But also, I think you have not to forget the reconstruction of the country. But today, we have facts of what happened during this time, and these facts have to be shown, have to be not compared, but also to show the side of the truth against of this denial and negligence of the media and the people and the international community.